What's going on, my fellow farmer brothers and sisters? Alright, so on this chilly day, we are going to see if this 450 finally starts, so stay tuned. I'm excited. What's going on, my friends? Alright, so I am so glad that I have this tractor in this shop, not in the other one, because it's chilly out there today. It's definitely not that 70 to 80 degree weather that we had. So I did a few things on this tractor. It wasn't a ton, but I did a few things on this tractor off camera. Rebuilt the distributor, but I am going to be posting a... You know what? I already posted the video. Doy. This is the after video. Anyway, so you saw the video of the distributor. I just checked it for spark, gave it a crank over, and it's got spark, so we're good there. I did rebuild the carburetor. I did do that off camera, but Kenny Drizzle, you know, he's got a really good video on rebuilding the same carburetor, so if you guys really need to see it in depth, I really couldn't see you kind of beating the dead horse. If you guys ever want me to do a video the way I do them, that's fine. The only thing that I do to my carburetor that's a little different than some people, I Cerakote mine. So I'm going to spin this around and I'm going to show you a few things that I built, a few things that I did, and kind of fill you guys in on where I left off. So let me spin this around. Alright, so here's the carburetor. I am going to post a whole bunch of pictures. Actually, you know what? I'll post all the pictures right now. Alright, see all the pictures of how this thing looked and some of the stuff I did. Unfortunately, I forgot to take a complete picture of this thing sitting on the bench, as ugly as it was. It was pretty ugly. But anyway, so this is a Cerakote of Ruby Red. Ruby Red is pretty close to that Farmall Red. I didn't want to go with a super high shine on this carburetor, so I did tone this one down just a hair. I mean, I can go ahead and give this thing a little polish with a rag, and as you see, I can bring the shine right up, no problem. But I didn't want a super shiny carburetor. So anyway, so this thing is rebuilt inside and out, all new parts, and like I said, it's Cerakoted, which means gas can drip on here, oil can get on here, whatever can get on here. I don't really care. It's not going to hurt this finish. I can spray this thing down with brake, cleaner, carburetor cleaner, whatever, and it won't take this finish off like it does regular paint. So this holds up very well, especially when it comes to carburetors. And honestly, you got to mask everything off anyway when it comes to rebuilding a carburetor to paint it. It's not much different except for the fact of you're just putting heat to it. I mean, you can do an air cured if you want, but if you do a heat cured, by the time you spray it in an hour, it's cooling down and you're ready to rebuild it. You don't have to wait for it to dry. So anyway, so the carburetor came out really nice. So we're going to see how well it works. Should work good. So off camera, I did fix the governor. So I went ahead and I welded the end of that shaft back on there. Got it all lined up. So the M&W governor is good to go and back together. As you see, I did pop the exhaust on. And again, this is going to come off because I'm going to Cerakote it. But I wanted to get this whole motor back together and kind of ready to fire up and then see if I can move everything back and forth. I did hook the water and everything back up, the radiator, all that's back in, so that way if I do get it running and everything seems like it's running halfway decent, if I do pull it out of here, maybe I could take a lap around the yard, check the power steering on it, see how all that works, check the TA, check the, going through the gears, just check all that stuff because I kind of want to see how everything works. The only thing I did notice so far that I'm not really too happy with is the amount of play that the steering has in it. As you see, power steering has quite a bit of slop it right there. So I guess we're going to dig into, I don't think anybody sells a rebuild kit as far as the gears and all that. So I don't know. I guess I'm going to have to figure a way to dig into it and see what I can do to tighten that slop up a little bit and make it a little better. I can tighten everything else up, the front end, all that. Oh yeah, I did go ahead and descale some of this, so as you see, it's not all that red paint flaked up all on this thing anymore. When I put power to it just to see how the starter and all engaged, the starter was froze. It's the gear drive style starter, and Unfortunately, the starter, it's a reman. It's smoked. I couldn't get any life out of it. So this is actually the starter off the 300 that's sitting next to it. Not that I really wanted to cannibalize the starter, but I wanted to at least get something on here so I can get this thing running. Let's see what else. Really, it was just putting the motor back together. Plugs, I already did the video, showed you all that. Distributor, you saw all that. I did check to see if I had power coming in. I had power coming in. I went ahead and I hooked up my spark tester on here, and it's got a nice spark to it, so we're good on spark. So really the only thing left was getting the fuel in here. Anyway, I did make something else also for jacking these tractors up. I decided to go ahead, I gotta lop that shaft off right there just a little bit. But I decided to make me a jack extension for jacking these things up. I was kind of tired of, let me move this jack head right here. I was kind of tired of putting blocks and everything under the tractor to jack it up. So I went ahead and fabbed me up a jack stand. Let me tighten this up. See, I got to lop that off because it's got a little too much play in it because that shaft's a little long. As soon as I get it touching. Guess I should have showed the product when it was finished, not in the midst of what I'm doing. Anyway, okay, so as soon as I get that thing there cut off to that distance there, it'll fit in the jack much better. I just made this up the other day just to play with, but as you say, makes it much easier for jacking that tractor up. I don't have all the boards and blocks and shit to work around. I don't have to worry about knocking everything over or having the boards fall out. So if you guys are interested, maybe I'll do a little bit more of a thorough video kind of showing what I made here and the measurements. But I tell you, that right there definitely beats all that right there. Much better. Okay, another thing I did was this housing for the shifter that was broke. I went ahead and MIG welded it. All I got to do now is grind it down and clean it up. So that will be back in use if I decide to use it for something. And then the last thing I wanted to show you guys was the trick that I told you how to get broken studs out of here. So the stud was broke off inside there, almost flush, and obviously I couldn't just weld the nut on there because it's a good chance that all that weld could stick to the housing. So I went ahead and I took this little piece of, it's actually like a valve cover, Allen head nut for locking down valve covers, aftermarket stuff, race cars. But anyway, I put this over top of that broken stud, and then I built the stud up with a lot of weld. Then I sat that nut over top of that, and then I went ahead and welded that in there pretty heavy. This was the first attempt, and as you see, if you don't get good penetrating, as far as your weld, see where it broke some of the tip of that stud off? It didn't hold very well. I mean, I got a nice weld inside there, but I didn't get it on there as well. So the second time, I built it up a little hotter, and as you see now, that stud, right on out, just like that. So if you guys get a broken stud inside of something, MIG welding it and putting a bigger nut on there and backing it out is way easier than trying to drill it out and then risking messing up all your threads. And as you see, no damage to it whatsoever. So anyway, so that's how you guys get broken studs out if you need to know. But today's video is going to be a will it run. So what I need to do right now is turn on the fuel. And I'm hoping the way I got this fuel set up, it'll gravity feed in. I'm not sure if it will because of that little dip I got going on right there. But I'm going to go ahead and see if this carburetor will fill. If the carburetor fills, then we're good. I know we got fuel flowing in here. And then after that, I got the key to turn on and to get power. So I'm getting power here now. But unfortunately, the starter switch, I mean, all this is roached, but the starter switch was roached on it. So we're not going to be using this. So I'm going to turn it on, get the power. We're going to come on over here and just go ahead and fire it off this way. And that's how we're going to crank it. And then once it gets running, to kill it, I got to just turn the key off. That's it. So this is like a nervous moment, an excited moment all the same time. Because this thing's been sitting in the yard for, what, a year? And now she's finally going to get running. First time hearing it. I'm super stoked about this. Anyway, So enough of gabbing. Let me go ahead and set this thing up in the stand, and then we're going to see if the fuel flows in there first. And if we get fuel, we're going to crank this thing up. So, all right, let me get set up. All right, fuel is on. So let's see if I have any coming out. And yes, we have fuel, so we're good. Now we need my rag. All right, well, choke is on. I don't think I'll need it. Interlock's pretty warm. Fuel's on, so all I gotta do is turn the power on, hook the battery up, turn the power on, and hope we got this. So, all right, just enough lollygagging. All right, throttle is down. All right. I already checked the gears, so we're out of gear. Alright, let's see what we got. Put the throttle up. I wonder if I'm going to have to hook one of those wires up over there. I have a feeling I will. Little backfire, and the smoke detector going off. All right, well, she's loud and she runs. Now we got a little backfire out of the carburetor, and most likely it's because the distributor needs adjusted a little bit. But she runs. I might toss a muffler on this thing now. Try to quiet this thing down just a hair. Because she got a little loud, but sounds good. Everything sounds nice. All right, I'm going to throw a muffler on here, and we're going to try this again. Really, that throttle is way backwards on this thing. Let me kill that fuel for a minute. Kill the key, kill the fuel. All right, so yeah, I'm gonna have to, that throttle linkage is all messed up on this thing. So I'm gonna have to adjust that, because when you think you're retarding it, you're advancing it. But other than that, it sounds much better with the muffler on there. All right, so really it's just gonna be fine tuning this thing and getting it all set. But other than that, quite happy. She ran. First try. Very nice. Anyway, so I guess there's really not much more to this video. I guess that was really about it. That's all I was trying to shoot for. Was a will it run? And that's what we got. Was a will it run? And yes, it will. Anyway, so this was just going to be a short, sweet video. I was hoping it was going to be short. Really, it's just going to be about seeing if we can get it running. But it gave me like no trouble whatsoever. So, except for the fact of just setting everything and tuning it and throttle and all that stuff. I guess the next video is going to be, once we get this thing dialed in, pulling it out of here and taking it for a spin and seeing how everything works on it. So, pretty exciting. Pretty cool to actually hear this thing run. Yeah, for sitting in the yard and pretty much being a dead fish. Nothing beats the feeling of hearing one of these things fire up the first time after being in a long slumber. Anyway, alright guys, well that's going to be it for today, and just a quick note, now that I know this thing runs, I'm going to end up having to bring that 450 over here to the shop so I can do the tune-up on it, do the brakes on it. I am going to take these tires off of here, and I'm going to put them on that 450 for now, the diesel, because I need it for plowing and everything in the back and running the disc and all that stuff. And then I do have the new 16.9 Titans that's actually put away for the diesel, because I think this one here, I think I'm going to go ahead and put those 15.5s on this one. And then I'm going to end up getting like 14.6, 14.9, 14.9. I think it was 14.9s. Yeah, it's 14.6. I think I was going to put on the 300. Anyway, I got all the tire sizes figured out, so don't you guys worry about that. I'll worry about that part. So anyway, so once I know this thing runs and drives and we take it for a quick spin, we're going to start working on that diesel. I'm not restoring that one. That one's just going to get mechanically cleaned up, pressure washed, tune it up, and then I'm putting it right in the field and we're going to start working with it. Now this one, different story. Now I know it runs, pull it out, pressure wash it, strip it all back down again, and start painting it. Anyway, so that's it for today. Make sure you guys hit that notification bell. Like, subscribe, and share if you want to continue to see future videos. I had a little moment on my last video, but I guess I'll go ahead and keep the channel going. It's kind of fun, and I enjoy talking with you guys. So anyway, so that's it. Like, subscribe, and share. Hit the notification bell. Until next time, thanks for watching.